Hey guys, it's Maymay and my trusty sidekick.
Vinicio.
Today we are going to make this cool card. Now this card originally was sent to me by Deanne Maythaler, and I have to say that I have taken this card apart to learn how to do this and put it back together. So it's a little worse for the wear, but thank you Deanne for sending it. I have really worn this one out because I literally took this section apart and figured out, look, I haven't even glued that back yet, but I'm going to, and I'm going to have it all back together before it's over with. But I wanted to show you guys how to make it, and it's perfect for 6x6 paper pads. Now this tab is a little long. Today the one we're going to make is going to be a little shorter, but I just did this one as like a sample to make sure this is going to work. So here's how this one works. This is using the 6x6. We're going to use a Very Merry Christmas, and we have a lot of this paper pad in, so don't worry. If you're wanting it, we've got it. There's a lot of this 6x6 one, and it is perfect for this kind of card. So look, that's one of those pages that I love so much is the front, and then look right here. Ready for this? Look how cute this is. And it's so much easier than it looks. It looks very intimidating. And it can be decorated even more than what I've done because you can decorate inside of here. I even think it'd be cute to stamp these pages in here. And then like when you do this, maybe journal what's going on in the picture that you put here. So I think this is a super cute gift for Christmas. And it reminds me of, you know how people send out newsletters at Christmas time? You know how like, we're not those people. We never send out newsletters, but I barely get Christmas cards out. But you know when people send out newsletters, wouldn't it be cute if you use this to do like photos of your year and then kind of journal what it was, and then your family gets photos in an automatic little album? So cute. You're gonna love this. It's easy to do, and you could put this with something pretty on the back like Deanne did. Let me show you hers. See, she put a pretty paper on the back and then put her name back there. I didn't do that. I just wanted to cover it. So let's make one of these guys. Now, this is probably a video for edited. I probably should have done this in an edited video, but I'm going to tell you this. We have all your measurements for you. They will be in the blog post that we link below. And I want to talk to you about that. Some people have asked me about the blog post. The reason I'm linking blog posts instead of putting stuff in the description is the new way YouTube is doing things is sometimes they don't like links. So I'm trying to keep the links in the description as minimal as possible so that they don't like flag my video or what have you. So that's why we're doing the links in the blog post and not in the description. So if you're looking, just click on the blog post and that'll take you to all the clickable links for supplies. I just want to make sure I told you that. All right, here's the cool thing about this, okay? You're going to be able to make the base of this card with just a piece of 8.5 by 11. This is going to get you the card base and the pull tab. And with a second piece of 8.5 by 11, you'll be able to get all of your little photo mats. Okay, so it's not a lot of paper. Your first piece you need, your card base, is 10.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and score this in the middle. This is going to be one of those, if you have some questions, you're going to need to jump in because
Gotcha.
I'm gonna be working, okay? So 10.5 by 5. Yeah, 10.5 by 5.5, and we're gonna score it at 5.25. Almost score with the wrong one. So I'm just gonna run this down at 5.25, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and fold this over. It won't matter. We're gonna go ahead and get that ready to go. And where's my bone folder? Ever since I came back from the cruise, I've lost my bone folder, and I've been using one of these We Are Memory Keeper ones, but they work. So there's our card base, done and done. Now then, I need to make one quick trim. And remember I told you how my tab was too long? I need to trim this down. This piece, the pull tab piece, needs to be, I gotta find my measurement, 9 3/4 long by 3 inches wide. Again, don't worry about writing down measurements. They're all gonna be on the blog post, but I needed to trim a little bit off.
Cheryl asked what type of paper that cardstock is you're using.
This is Nina 110 pound, and I bought this in a big old container at, what's the place in Prattville I go to, the office supply place? Office Depot. So I just bought a big old pack of it. So this piece, and I'm going to kind of do this for you guys. That little, ignore this piece. This little tab that sticks out the bottom, that's what this piece is. Now to make the waterfall work, I'm going to walk you guys through this for a second. These guys all have to kind of lay on top of each other like so, okay? But this has to be scored in such a way that it will work. So that's what we're fixing to do. We're going to do the scoring part. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard out. So this piece needs to be scored, and all these measurements are in the blog post for you, okay? Needs to be scored at 2 inches, okay? At 2 3/4, and I'm really paying attention because I don't want to mess up. at 3.5. Is Gareth making fun of me saying fixing 2?
It looks like he might be.
And then 4.25. All right, so there's your score marks. Let me show you those in the light, okay? That's all that you have to do, and this whole thing will work. Now, we're gonna build the waterfall. I don't know if I'm doing this the way Deanne did it. I just know this worked for me, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put a crease in where every one of these are so I can see it when I am gluing my pieces on, okay? So there's that. And I may have to refer back to my finished piece every now and then to make sure I'm doing things in the right place. And you can refer back to this video for that, so that'll be helpful. All right, I gotta remember because it was a struggle. So we're going to put this piece on the inside waterfall. This is our smallest photo mat. That's where we're gonna start, and we're gonna layer it all the way up, okay? So from your 2-inch scored side, you're gonna take your smallest photo mat, okay? And you're gonna glue it right below that 2-inch score line. I'm gonna try to do this real easy so you guys can come back and get it. I'm gonna use art glitter glue, and I'm only gonna run one little line right here. I used my art glitter glue earlier and I cleaned the cap, but it's still, there we go, it's working. Okay, so I'm gonna run one little line. Now here's the tricky part. I have to center this one piece, all right? So I'm gonna use my cutting mat to help me. And that's one reason I wanted to use the art glitter, the glue, the wet glue, so I could move this around and get it centered. So see how I'm centering it with my cutting mat on either side? That's the only piece I need to center. The rest will work just fine. Okay, so there's that one. Now what we'll do is in this open space, in this scored rectangle, we're gonna add some glue like that. You're gonna take your next smallest piece and you're gonna line this one up right below the score line, and you're gonna line it up with that piece on the bottom. So that's why you only have to center one. See how I'm just lining it up all the way around, but gluing it into that strip. Real easy, okay? The next one, we're gonna put the glue in this section. You can do this with sticky tape too. I did one with sticky tape, but I felt this one worked better. Then we're gonna take our next smallest piece and I'm gonna go underneath that score line, line it up with this piece of paper underneath here, and glue that into place. So that's cool, we only have to center one piece. And then our last waterfall piece goes right there. So I'm gonna add some glue. I'm coming a little down from that score line because I want this piece to line up down at the bottom down here. And so I'm gonna do it this way. So I may have a little gap at the top, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I don't want my glue to seep out. So this is what is gonna make our waterfall piece. So let me do this. Get everything folded. And I did this too. I went ahead and like creased everything down and got it moving really good before I moved on to putting everything together. All right, any questions? So far? See what happens?
The only question was about the size of paper you're using. I mean, the weight of the paper that you're using, and again, question about what paper pack you were using. But
I'll tell you too about this. I found, let me show you I did this very, very sample-y one, and I used that Nina Textures paper, which is really nice and sturdy paper. Look how easy this moves. The thicker the paper, the easier it seems to move for me. So this is the Nina Textures that comes in I think it's gray and blue.
5 colors, I think.
Something like that. It's really nice paper for this. Okay, the only thing I forgot to do, which I want to do real quick, is I want to round these corners. So I'm going to use my corner punch here. And you need to round them now because once it gets on the card, they're a little too close. You could do it later, but I like to do it here. Now we're going to put this inside the card. It's not the hardest thing, I'm telling you. Once you get it worked out, it's not so bad. So here's our card mat, and here's our scored line. So that's the middle of our card. But we need to worry about the bottom, okay? I'm going to open this piece out. Well, let's don't open it out yet. Let's close it. What we need to do is we need to line up the bottom of our photo mats with the bottom of the card, leaving that tab hanging out, okay? My tab is folded a little crooked. I'm going to try to fix it because I don't like it. It just doesn't look right to me, so I'm going to try to fix it like that. So I'm going to line at the bottom. Could you believe I stressed about that?
No, you didn't stress, but I was going to remind you that you don't do perfect.
I don't. I just didn't like the way it looked. So I'm going to line that up like this. Okay. So that's how we're going to know we're in the right spot, which makes this part super easy. As long as the bottom is lined up and we have the same distance around, I might want to come this way a little bit. We're in good shape. Before I do this though, you need a piece that is what I call the anchor piece. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It's hard to see in here, but do you see this black piece right there? It's like a belt. It runs under the back. I'm calling that the anchor. You can see it really good right here on the side. You're going to need that piece for this part. That piece is 12 inches by 1.5. Now, I'm not great at eyeball. I do eyeball center all the time, and you can, but I know some of you guys struggle with that, so I decided to give you a measurement. Now, this measurement doesn't have to be perfect, but it's kind of where we're going to be folding this kind of belly band across, okay? So you'll want to score this one at 3 1/4 on one end. Then I'm going to turn it around and score it at 3 1/4 on the other end. I'm just doing that because I want to use my smaller board and not pull out the big one for this, since I don't really need the big one for everything. So this and this are kind of good guidelines for me, okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do, which is way more measuring than I actually did. What I actually did was use my cutting mat behind here, but I'm going to measure for you guys that don't have a cutting mat and show you what I would do. Let me grab a pencil out of here if I can find one. There you go. All right, so what I would do if you don't have a cutting mat to use as a guide is just take your ruler, and for this part you need to measure up 1 inch from the bottom of the inside of your card. Okay, just make yourself a little mark, 1 inch up from the bottom of the inside. Uh-oh, do I not have lead? There it is. It worked on the other side. It did, there's a little mark. No, I don't know. I think I just didn't have my lead out good. Okay, I didn't have the lead out.
I hate when that happens.
I usually have my lead foot out. I don't have the lead out here. Okay, so I've made a little mark 1 inch up. Now I'm going to take this piece and these scored marks that I made, I'm going to line them up at that 1 inch mark, just like this on either side. Now your score marks are not going to fold exactly perfect, and that's okay. I really just wanted to give you that to give you a guideline so you would know you were doing it correctly, okay? Now you can glue this into place now, or you can wait a minute. I'm going to wait a minute in case I need to adjust anything. It'll make sense in a second.
Just in case.
You never know what I might have to adjust. Where'd I put my card?
Kim Max will ask you about the cruise.
Oh yeah, the cruise. It was super fun. Okay, let me put this here, okay? And I'm going to line up the bottom again of our photo mats with our tab hanging out. Now I'm going to pick this up and lay it up there, okay? Now I'm going to bring these sides in, and they don't have to be perfect on those score marks. I just want to bring them in like this. Now here's where you can get confused, all right? You do not glue this piece down. This piece needs to be loose and fluid, okay? These two pieces, this strap gets glued to each other, but not to the back. Does that make sense? Am I clarifying that enough? It's real important that you know that. So this piece is going to get glued to this flap, but not to each other. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So now I still have fluid movement underneath here. That's important.
So it's glued to its own self, but not to the other stuff that's there.
We've made like a band, a belly band. Now I'm going to bring this guy back over, and I'm just going to do a quick lineup and make sure when I look under here that this little flap that's holding my first photo mat and this little belly band line up with each other. They don't have to line up perfectly at the edge. I just need to know that when I put glue on my black band, that's going to stay. Okay? So it will. We're good. So I'm going to take my art glitter glue. This is my glue. I'm going to run it right here. And I'm going to try really hard not to let this flow out onto that back piece. Okay? I don't want to put so much that it squirts out because it'll stop my flow here. Okay? All right. We're going to close this guy back. Just making sure that the bottom of our photo mats line up with the bottom of our card, and glue that down. And I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I pull it. Doesn't this card look a lot more complicated? It to me it did. It intimidated me. I didn't want to mess with it. I kept putting it off, and then this morning I was like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this card out for everybody. And I think I've done a decent job. I don't think it's as hard, but wrapping your brain around it at first takes a little struggle from me. So let me make sure that's glued down. And now I'm gonna show you how this works. We still have to do one. Let me do this before I show you how it works. Okay. So this is our anchor piece. And remember, it's not glued to anything. All right, it's just sitting there. So I'm going to come underneath here and go ahead and glue it down so that my anchor piece is a true anchor. Make sense? It's not going anywhere. And this may not be exactly how Deanne did it. I just thought I would try it my way and see if I could figure it out. So now my anchor piece is glued down, and I should be able to waterfall. Check it out.
Ta-da.
This piece is what's the word? This piece is stationary. It's not moving, okay? Because it is glued down. So I'm not going to be able to pull it one more time. I even went under here in mine because I didn't want this to get pulled off. And I took some glue and glued it down flat all the way because I didn't want that one to get pulled off if somebody got really excited and like jerked.
Got a little too aggressive.
Yeah, a little too aggressive. So how easy was that? And then watch. We can just push this right back up. Look at that. It's super cute. And our card top just comes right over and we are ready to decorate. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty proud that I didn't have to go, oops, I messed up and back up on something. Because this was, you know, one of those things I had to wrap my brain around. So now let's decorate it because I think it's fun. It's really not complicated. It does look extremely complicated, but it is not complicated. How many of you guys are going to, I want to see by show of hands in our live chat today, how many of you guys are going to make these for Christmas presents because they're brilliant for that. Let's make a cover. And I thought I would do this with you guys and let y'all see how I do this. That's a little dangerous, isn't it? You watch me do it.
It is a little scary, yeah.
Why is it scary? Because I don't do math.
Math is not your strong suit.
It's not. I liked, the one I used was, I want to use a different one, but this is the one I used. Should I do it the same? I kind of thought about doing the Santa's List one because I thought it'd be cute to write on the front. You think I should do this one instead? I don't know. Let me do the one I did. I think this one's the cuter. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this one out. This is one thing I really, this is the reason I wanted the 6x6 to work, is because, you know, we have this in the 12x12 that I fell in love with, but I just love it in the 6x6 too. Now you could cover the entire front of your album with this one piece, and I actually cut it to do that, but then I decided it didn't make it pop. Okay, yeah, don't forget to smell it first. Somebody said, I have smelled that pad plenty of times. I love it.
And this is the Very Merry Christmas 6x6.
Yes, let me show you the front. We carry this in the store, MaymayMadeIt.com. This is this one. It is so cute. Y'all need to grab it while we got it. Because you know, if it's not next year, the year after, this will get discontinued. They always do it. All right, so what I decided was this needed a little red trim to make it pop. Because I was going to cover the whole thing, but it didn't work for me. So we're going to cut this down. So here's what I did. I know the measurement of the front of my card. It's 5.5 wide and it's 5 1/4 tall. Yeah, because we scored at 5 1/4. So 5.5 by 5 1/4. So I know that I need this to fit on here. And what I decided to do was to kind of cut away as much of the decorator part here as I could because it looked a little funny. So you can see here that I kind of did away with all the little beige edge. Okay. So here's what I did. I cut this down to fit on the card, and I kind of laid it here and looked, and then I took my ruler and I'm like, I know I have 5.5 inches across the front. So I looked to see where I could fit 5.5 inches and get it really good. And here's what I discovered. If I came from one side to this side and cut it at 5.5 at the end of that S, I'm perfect. I can get the whole front of the card. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that cut. I noticed that the store closed for a second. The reason is because of our new 15% off discount that we give to our club members, we have to literally have that done through a, what's it called? Through an app on our store, and it has to do the numbers for us. So that's why we have to shut it down for just a minute. All right, so that did that. I actually cut a little more off than I did on the first one, but we're okay on that. Then I'm gonna come in here. I wanna get this down to 5 1/4. So now what I need to do is cut about 1/4 inch off, but I think what I'll do is put it in my trimmer and cut this at 5 1/4, and whatever we get is what we get. It's gonna cut Santa's hand off, but I did in the first one too, and it doesn't look bad. Now I need to get this down to 4 1/4.
Poor Santa.
So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this frilly edge off because I don't want that to show. I don't want that creamy edge to show. I want it to be all blue. Now I know I can just cut this at 5 1/4. Is it 5 1/4? Let me double check. See me double check? See me do that? Let's do it. 5 inches. So I want to cut this to 5. And once I do that, I don't like how close that's getting. Did I get that close on the first one? So I'm going to come back a little bit and make my own adjustments here. So I'm going to move this to here. Then I'm going to cut it to 5. And whatever I lose at the bottom, I lose at the bottom. And we're okay. Just work your way into the paper. Don't just start whacking, you know, because you'll mess yourself up. So now we're right. We got a little bit of the reindeer over here. We got most of Santa, and we got all of Merry Christmas. So we're good, right? Now then, I cut his bottom off. Don't y'all wish we could just make a trim and be like, no more bottom? It'd be good. So now this piece is 5 1/4 by 5. So I need to cut a trim piece to go around the edge that's 1/8 of an inch bigger. So let me find some red paper because that's what I used. So 5 1/4 by 5 means I need to cut it 5 3/8 by 5 1/8 because I just want to add 1/8 of an inch.
Look at you doing that.
Now this part I can do. I can do measurements pretty good because I do it all the time. You know, that's what I deal in is measurements. All right, so now this dude is going to get glued behind this dude, and I'm going to have this tiny little red trim. See it? I love it. Look how my paper's fraying. People complain about that, and it happens to me too. Depends on the paper I'm using, and I don't know what paper pack this came from, but it is a fraying. And somebody asked me, how do I know it's not my trimmer doing it? Look at the difference. That paper I cut first does not have those little fuzzy edges. Maybe a tiny bit, but not bad. But this red paper does, and I can tell it's the paper, not my trimmer, because it works on some and not on the other. I don't know what brand this is because I pulled it out of my, like, my stash of where sometimes I just throw paper in my stash. It's just some red that I had. All right. It doesn't feel very sturdy, so it's probably something I had old. Let me do this. Watch. And here's how I get rid of those things because it's going to happen. Just take your scissors, lay it beside, and you can feel them just kind of cut away. That's what I love these long scissors for, making these longer cuts like this. So I'm basically giving it a haircut. You can also use a fingernail file and run down it. I've heard some people say that works. But I'm just going to do the best I can and let it go because you know what? They'll wear off over time. As long as I don't glue them down, they'll wear off. All right, let's glue this guy on. Super cute, super easy. We're doing decent on time too. I just had to look.
Doing good. 23 minutes.
Now I did all my cutting ahead of time, so that does help. Because we had a lot to cut today. Getting all the trimming done. Y'all know I'm going to want to see these, okay? I'm going to want to see these on our Facebook group and our customer gallery. I'm going to want to see you guys making these like crazy. All right, I'm going to glue this piece on. Do you see how little glue? I'm using my red tip, which has a larger hole, but I'm really being careful not to put too much glue. You don't need much of the art glitter glue. Just a little. Speaking of, did you guys know we had a visitor from Art Glitter Glue in the shop this week?
We did.
Charlie from Art Glitter Glue came and visited us. That was so nice. We got to go to lunch and hang out with her, and she got to see our shop. And it's nice now when we talk to each other, we kind of can, you know, put, you know, faces with names and blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty nice. All right, I'm going to pull this tab out, all the way out, and I'm going to mat it. Now, Deanne did this too, and I thought it was pretty. I'm going to mat it all the way up to the bend here, to the score, because it just looks pretty. But I need to trim this piece down because I cut it too long a while ago when I was using that longer measurement. So let me measure this. I think Tamitha has the right measurement for this, and I have the wrong one. If not, Tamitha, this piece needs to be 2 3/4 wide. And it needs to be 5 1/4 long. So I'm going to trim this piece down to 5 1/4. So when you guys get the measurements, you'll just be able to get them and go. You won't have to stress about fixing anything. This is just where I had that tail too long. All right then. Let me round the corners of this guy. Here's a tip for you. If you stick a piece down like this and then round the corners, you're not going to get the rounded correctly. It's going to look funny, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and round it before I glue it down, and then it'll make sense. So this slides up underneath. That way it's matted all the way up so you don't see like a a separation, and you need it to be as smooth as possible for the workings. Is everybody seeming to get it?
Yeah.
Any questions about the book?
Not yet.
Are they all product related?
Yeah. Whatever questions have been about product.
So if you're new to our live show, or if you have never stuck around very long for one, let me tell you what happens next. After this show, we do something called the Crafter After Show, where we answer product questions and things. I do that because I didn't want you guys to have to sit through product questions while we were doing a craft, because some of you guys don't really care about the product, and that's fine. We get that. So, and after this show, we'll directly start another live to do the Crafter After. Now I've cut all my mats, okay? I've already pre-cut them. The measurements are going to be there for you in the blog, all right? I'm going to start with this bottom one and glue these down. So this is a good place for questions, because I'm just going to run through and glue these.
We have a few people that are new to our videos today.
Have they subscribed to our channel?
The reason I know that they're new is because they don't know what kind of glue you use.
That's probably true. Our glue that we love is called Art Glitter Glue. That is this glue. It does not have glitter in it. The company is called Art Glitter. That's the name of the company. They're known for their glitter, which is beautiful, by the way. But this glue is called Art Glitter Glue. Uh-oh, I think I have to cut another piece. I think I lost one. Surely I didn't. Where did I put that other piece? Did I hide it from myself? Or did I pick up the wrong one? Nope, I gotta cut a piece. I don't know how I did that. Anyway, so it's called Art Glitter Glue, and it is amazing. It does not have glitter in it. It works great with glitter because it dries super fast and clear. And matte, which is my favorite. It even dries matte. So, all right, I gotta cut this piece. I could have swore I cut one earlier, but I didn't. All right, so this piece is gonna be 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Let me get, oh, I'm making a mess. Okay.
We had a question. Could you mat the pull tab before assembly?
You can. It doesn't hurt anything to do it now, though. It does. You don't have to do anything crazy or anything. So it's real easy just to slip it up under there. My thing is, like, my brain works better after the fact. Like, I'm not one of those people who builds really well as I go. I'm better to build the thing and then put the stuff on top. For me, it just keeps my brain clear. I don't know. I think everybody's is different. I'm learning that from people, that some people can do better when they do it as they go. So, all right. Let me glue this down here. Center that around. Let's bring the next one over. I know I got this one cut. I wanted to use this blue snowflake, which is so pretty. You're lucky it wouldn't work afterwards. I saw somebody say that. This one is going to be one of those ones you're going to have to stop and watch and stop and watch. Okay? So, it does take a minute to get into your brain. 10 things to know about die cutting in one comment? That was a lot. Did somebody say that? And then this one I'm going to put here. I think it's super cute. All right. Glue it down. I'm trying to read some of the comments today. Yeah, that's what somebody was saying, matting the backs. I think so too, but here's what I think you should do. This is just a suggestion. When and if you mat the backs, mat them with pieces of paper that don't have a lot of pattern, and here's why. You can use this to journal about the photo. You know what I'm saying? So if you put a photo right here, then you can journal about it here, and that'd be super cute. And if you did several small photos, it'd be super cute to journal about the day. So each one of these could be the photo and the journal, the photo and the journal. And I suggested that you stamp those pages. I think that'd be really cute. Speaking of stamping, let's do some. I'm going to use my stamp set called Action. Let me show you this one. I'm going to show you. This is the set called Action, and I'm going to use the photo, the one here that says place photo here, because I love this right here to tell people what to put in place, because so many times we'll give a gift and they're like, what do I do with this? If you're not going to put the pictures in it and you're giving this as a gift, do this and let them know where to put the photos. And I do it right over pattern paper. It's perfectly fine, and I stamp it after I put it together. It doesn't hurt a thing. Okay, so there's one. Let's do the next one. It won't hurt a thing. You can stamp it before. Do you? I tell you all the time, do you. If it works in your craft room, do it. And then stamp that down. And let's keep going. Do the next one. Got any more comments? You're quiet over there in the peanut gallery.
Well, I'm just reading what folks are saying, and folks are just really talking about different stuff and not really so much. We have had a couple people say they were afraid that if they pulled the tab, the whole thing would fall apart.
No, come on.
And then we had somebody say, it's pretty easy to do. You can do it with even your kids.
Well, this one you could. You just have to help them. This is one of those that some age kids would get frustrated with. I've noticed there are some projects where if you have to tell them every step, a child can get a little frustrated. But if they feel like they have a little freedom, because kids don't like, structure. They like some structure, but they don't care for like structure crafting. They want to play because they have that play brain. So this one might be for older kids. You could certainly do this. But if they want to play, you might want to build the mechanism for them.
Yeah,
and then let them decorate.
Like make it in a kit or something?
Yeah, or just build a mechanism, like give them the blank card and let them play. They'd love that.
Melissa thinks you should make her a kit.
Oh, yeah, well.
She said just make her a kit and then she wouldn't have to do all of it.
I'd love to do that, but
she did say she was just kidding. But
I'd struggle making it up just for me. Okay, so look, I put the word pull right here, and I used it in one of the blank sections of my paper. So I'm going to close this guy up. And see the little word pull sticks out so you can see it? Isn't that cute?
So what else could you do with it besides a photo album?
Oh, anything. Recipes. Maybe I'm going to do the back of it. Maybe you have a family recipe that people love, or maybe you had, you don't have to, don't think Christmas. Think other times of the year. Maybe it was a birthday party that, think about this. Say you invited people to the birthday party. You took a whole bunch of pictures and grandma and them left. And you wanted to send them a little photo memento of the birthday party. That would be so cute, right?
Well, like this person said, I don't really do photos and albums. She loved the idea, but she was asking, did you have other ideas for what you could put in there besides photos?
Also, you don't have to do this way. You can turn it this way and use it. So think of it like that. There's no telling what you could do. Anything. Scripture would be great. Put a bunch of scriptures in there. Oh my goodness. I love the idea of the recipes, though. I think that'd be super cool.
Kim Maxwell asked a question about art glitter glue. It seems that she's having problems getting the glue to stop coming out of the top with the fine metal tip.
Then you've got your cap on too tight. Loosen your cap and let it get some air in it, and just close it down to where it's just closed, because it gets a vacuum seal in there. And once that happens, once you get it going, it's just going to keep coming out. So loosen your cap up.
There you go.
All right, 5 1/4. Wait, oh, I'm glad I looked. I want this to go on the back. I think it's cute for the back of it. So, I want it to lay this way. And I want to go 5 1/4 wide by 5 tall. All right, so I need to make sure I pay attention to my paper orientation because I'm bad about that.
No, because you got to burp that art glitter glue.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. It is. And then by 5. That is a good idea for kids to memorize their scripture. Make them little scripture books. That's a cute idea. Something else you could use this for, which I think would be cute, like at the end of the year somewhere, like make it like a signature book. Just have people sign it and stuff. That'd be cute.
We had a shipping question. Do you care if I answer that?
No, you can go right ahead.
Rob Lynn Clemens says, do I have to get my order via priority mail?
Yes.
Ms. Clemens, it depends on the weight of your order. If it is not a heavy order, it does not have to go priority mail, but there's a certain weight limit.
It's not as much as you think.
Comes on it, and it's really like about a pound. It's not much. And once that happens, it's actually cheaper for us to ship it to you priority mail. And so that's the way our system is designed, to let you guys get the stuff as cheap as we possibly can when it comes to shipping.
The other thing about that is, I have to let you guys know about the shipping with priority. With priority, you get a tracking number. There's also insurance, and it has come in handy many, many times. So, and it really isn't that much more. And we have worked out shipping. Oh my gosh. Shipping. We try to make it as cheap as we can.
Lots of arguments around this place about shipping.
Yes, there has. We won't get into it now. So there you go. Look what we just did.
I'm trying to open it up.
No, you're fine. Look at this. It's so awesome, right? Let me show y'all something else. Somebody might have asked about this. So here's what I have been doing lately, which I think I'm loving this. I'm going to be buying more of these for this than what they're intended for. So this is my 6x6 pad I used, okay? I used to open this up and throw in the scraps in the book and just keep it like that. But now what I'm doing is I've got these, they're stamp pockets. They're really for anything. What are they called by Bruce Monroe? There's a name.
Clear stamp?
No, they're pocket, I think. Something pockets. But we carry these and they come in packs, 25, 50, 75, 100. And what I've been doing is taking my scraps and putting them in. And I love that they're clear and I love that they're staying together, right? And I'm pretty sure that we have the 6x6 of this on order. So that'll be cool too when that comes in, of these clear pockets. So then that will come in and they'll fit right in here exactly. But for now, I'm keeping these in this little pocket with it. And I store my paper pads in a little pack, in a little tray like this, standing up, so I can put this right behind it and have all my scraps in there and not have a mess everywhere. Love it.
We had a question from Daryl asking if we carried scripture cardstock pads.
We do. Can we talk about that in the Crafter After Show so we can end this one? Because that way if people only want this, they don't have to stay around for other chatty stuff. All right, guys, so this is the card for today. I want to thank Deanne Maythaler. Oh, did I say it wrong? Hold on. I got to make sure I say her name right. Maythaler. I hope I'm saying it right. I want to thank Deanne for sending us the card. I love how this is. I love the idea of giving this at Christmas and for any time of the year, really. So if you make this card, we want to see it. You have a couple of options. Make one, share photos with us over on our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I, on our Facebook page. You can share it in our customer gallery that you find on our website. And before you go, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. We do a live craft every Thursday and we do 3 other videos throughout the week, maybe 4. It depends on what's going on. So keep up with us, guys. And we're going to close this one out and we'll open the Crafter After Show right after this. Talk to you in a second. Bye.
Bye.